Hello everybody and welcome to this week's edition of Top Rope Rowdy on the YouTube, episode 68. And let me ask you one thing. What you gonna do, brother, when you're the biggest racist in the world of wrestling?
You're gonna run and hide. That's what you need to do.
You're gonna have your legs cut out from underneath you, and anything you had your name on will be erased from history.
You can still go to the beach and go to Hogan's beach shop, because they put out a statement. So they had nothing to do with those statements that were said, and they're still open for business. But they were about to put out, TNA was about to put out a Best of Hulk Hogan DVD, I do believe.
Oh, they follow suit
They
and
have taken everything off their website. WWE, if you haven't heard, if you're living under a rock, because it's on all the news stations.
It's everywhere.
Sports Center, everything. Fired from the WWE is Hulk Hogan. Pulled from 2K16.
He's out of the game.
I hope they put somebody else in to make it a bigger deal, because that's not good. I mean,
now you have to look at this. What if he would have been the copy of the disc?
You're crazy.
That would have been something. Now, we got to scrap the cover. We got to start over again.
Good thing Stone Cold was on the cover.
Yes.
TNA removed everything like
it has no videos of him saying anything negatory out there yet. So
right. Hall of Fame status still up in the air. They took him off of the WWE website, and so that means they also took him off of the Hall of Fame section.
Yeah,
we don't know if that means they have said, give us back your ring, because I don't really think they'll do that.
No.
But they may say that we no longer recognize Hulk Hogan as a Hall of Famer due to his actions. But I think that is going too far, because we need to look at his Hall of Fame status with what he's done in wrestling, because without Hulk Hogan, and I'm not saying this for everybody, but, I mean, because you say without Flair, without Piper, without Bruno, you know, all those people, but without Hogan, what we have as modern day wrestling wouldn't be.
That's true.
Because the 80s, that was really the start of sports entertainment. Exactly. A little Andy Griffith going on, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Hope we don't get sued for that. So anyway, but the 80s was a lot like what it is now, sports entertainment, and it was very kid-friendly and things of that nature. Oh, yeah. So without Hogan, we wouldn't have that kind of stuff. I mean, maybe Vince would have put it on somebody else's back, but exactly. You know, and I do like what Piper said. I mean, Piper did go a little far, saying, the artist is a little sensitive. He did. And his promo, I'm thinking, he's been hit in the head a little too many times.
Yes, he's definitely lost his mind, too.
Woo, a little bit. But I do agree with him in some of the stuff he said. Nobody's talking about all the good things Hogan's done. No. They all want to jump on that bandwagon of how evil he is now. It was 8 years ago.
This day and time,
everybody gets butthurt about everything.
You do not speak wrong
of anybody,
because people don't want to be associated with you. You cannot say anything about anyone.
Nope.
Unless you're a certain thing.
Yeah,
so Hogan, if you're watching, hope you're watching, brother. Here's what you got to do: disappear for a couple of weeks. Don't let no one see. Don't talk to anybody.
No pictures, no nothing.
And when you have your press conference and come out and say you were confused, man. You didn't know if you were a man or a woman, if you were black or white. You don't know. So you're gonna change. You seen what Bruce Jenner did? He changed to Caitlyn, and you're gonna change. You won't not be Hulk Hogan anymore. No, you'll be Leroy Hogan.
There you go.
Change your color, man. Change your style. Hell, you'll get a TV show now.
And an award at a sports show.
And an award, yes.
You'll be courageous.
Change your color, change your gender, and everybody will open their arms. Vince McMahon will welcome you back home to the WWE again.
That's true.
And all this will be gone.
Exactly. But you know what? I mean, a lot of it is going way too far. I mean, they're saying that the National Enquirer released the quotes from audio tapes which featured Hogan speaking to Heather Clem, who is Bubba the Love Sponge's ex-wife and the woman with whom Hogan was involved in a sex tape scandal.
That was wrong. That was mistake number one, Hogan.
Mistake number one, having sex with someone else's wife.
Yeah.
Because they were married at the time, as far as I remember.
I think he was filming it, though.
Bubba was filming it. Bubba set him up. I think Bubba and Heather were in on it together just to make some money, and that's why they're no longer friends. But
Yeah.
They were filming it without his knowledge, and that's why a lot of this stuff, they're thinking that, whatever the name of the company, Gawker, Gooker, some weird name. They are the company who has the sex tape, and his lawyer's saying that this was all supposed to be in a disposition.
Transcript and everything's supposed to have been locked up. And it got
so
out.
they're saying that Gawker, Gooker, Pocker, whatever their name is the ones who released it, but their CEO is saying that Hulk Hogan only has one person to blame for this, and that's Hulk Hogan. And
he
it
does.
had nothing to do with it.
Well, Hogan does. It's on Hogan.
It's on Hogan. Hogan said it.
Losing all this money, millions and millions of dollars he's lost.
Yes.
Is on Hulk Hogan.
It is on Hogan. He said it, and he did the sex tape, so all this stuff is part of him. Now, he didn't know he was being filmed, but he was having sex with somebody else's wife.
Now, whoever released it, because somebody had to release it, they are guilty of this as well.
Yes.
So
they're just trying to make a buck.
And that will come out too.
Oh yes, eventually they will figure it out. And plus, they are saying, ladies and gentlemen, that there's more to be released soon. That's the bigger secret. That's worse than the word. Don't say it.
Don't say the word.
Don't say the word. But they're saying that this secret...
Some people can say the word.
Some people can say it. But anyway, they're saying that this secret is bigger. It's something that Hogan really doesn't want anybody to know. And I say, you know what? Leave the man alone.
But, I mean, I understand WWE's position, too. You're a big company.
Oh, you're publicly traded.
You want to distance yourself far away from any scandal.
Yes.
It's not the Attitude Era where, like...
They embrace scandal.
And yes, we know Vince said it on TV, but it's all part of an act.
That's right.
So Hogan bringing that up has nothing to do with what Hogan said. Hogan, you said it when you didn't know any cameras or any microphones were around.
You said it in a malicious
You were speaking from your heart.
You said you were a little racist.
And you will have to pay for this.
You said the word, and it will hurt you, whereas Vince was saying it in a character form with satire. It was a joke. Now, was it in good humor? No.
And Booker T said it.
Yes, Booker T said it with a slide of the mouth.
And it's slip of tongue.
Slip of tongue, because he was used to it from back in the streets.
Right. And you get to roll and you think, people say stuff, and sometimes they mean it, and sometimes they don't.
But if you listen to the recording.
But this day and time, you can't say anything.
Right.
There's no jokes, there's no nothing, and that's sad.
It's
very sad. If somebody can get offended by everything somebody says.
Yes. But if you were to listen to this recording or read, I don't know if you read the transcript.
I read the transcript.
It was pretty vicious.
It is pretty vicious. Yes, it is.
Who cares who Brooke is screwing this day, that day, and the other day?
Whatever, yes.
You know, who cares? You know, she was a grown woman at the time. Yeah, you put money into her career. That was your choice.
That's your choice, dude.
So it's her choice of who she's with. You know, and especially this day and age, that is completely acceptable. And he was coming from an old school stance, and that was his mistake.
Yes.
But
it's going to be big firestorm right now.
It is. It'll die down.
A year from now,
nobody will think about it.
Nobody will think about it, and Hogan will probably be back with the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And he may never be back with the WWE. So,
but this stuff will calm down. Every scandal calms down because everybody in the news is looking for the next big thing to jump on.
Yep.
That's all it is. If another sports star is to say something rude, or if there's some kind of bombing or a shooting or something like that, guess what? Nobody's gonna think about Hogan. It was a slow news day, probably.
Yeah. And if he wouldn't have been one of the top stars ever.
Yes.
If this would have been Joe Nobody.
Right.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Like literally, if Barry Horowitz would have said this,
yes.
Nobody would have cared.
Nope. Wouldn't have cared.
Wouldn't have cared at all. And no disrespect to Barry Horowitz, but you know Hulk Hogan.
It's who you are. And like you said, when another big story comes, Hulk Hogan's story will be swept away, and we won't.
Exactly. It's just the
I believe Vince loves the mighty dollar, and Hogan, even at his age, does bring in some money.
He does.
And when all this cools down and blows away,
because there is a large portion of the fans that say, give Hogan his job back, bring Hogan back. That you're being disrespectful, you're being unruly with it. I see Hogan's side of, hey, you know, I made a mistake, and I see Vince's side of, hey, you don't mess with my company because of what you said.
Yeah.
I see both sides, but I also see that the fan. I haven't really seen any derogatory thing about the fans saying, well, oh, blah blah blah, he deserves it. I haven't seen that.
No.
I've seen a lot of fans in an uproar saying that you need to give his job back to him. So,
but it's always aim, ready, shoot. I mean, boom,
right.
boom. You know, there's no thinking of it. Oh wait, he said, gone, finished, over.
Right.
So,
now with now just think a couple of years ago if this would have came out when he was in TNA, would it have been a big of a story? I mean, Hogan was still a big name then, but he was with a smaller company. Of course, I wouldn't have affected WWE. They would have just taken him off of the Hall of Fame section just to have his name off there.
Yes.
But this is a bigger deal because of everything is saturated with Hogan's name.
Oh, yes.
You've got the 2K16, you've got the Hall of Fame section, you've got the Tough Enough show, which they are saying that Tough Enough, that they're talking about Flair, they were talking about a couple of other people. I think Ricky Steamboat might have been one of them.
Brett.
They're talking. The big one is they said that Brett was on his way to have a meeting with Vince.
This will be interesting. They want the ratings to go up. The ratings are fixing to go up this next
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
To see about who the new. And hey, that's a good way to twist it around. Say, hey, come find out who the new person is. And
It ought to be left out. It's probably out today if we check.
Right. And then the other thing is they were talking about taking the three judges, not judges, but trainers, coaches.
Yes.
Yeah, now they're coaches nowadays, not trainers anymore,
coaches, whatever.
and swapping them out.
I'd rather have just a legend be on the seat than doing that movie.
Because you have 5 weeks left and you only have 3 people to swap out, so what happens the other 2 weeks?
They say Jericho was sitting there. No, I know.
To me, Jericho does, and Miz too, but it makes it to where Miz and Jericho cannot be unbiased in the situation.
Yeah.
Jericho is the host. If he's a host and a judge, to me, it's not fair.
You got the two names. You got Flair. You got Hart. Bring one of those in and be done with it.
Yep.
You get it done quickly, and let's move on.
Yep.
And then people,
because if you do it seemingly, no one's gonna care. No one's gonna
don't bring it up. You say, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Tough Enough. I'm Chris Jericho. Here's our Daniel Bryan, Bret Hart, and Paige, or Daniel Bryan, Ric Flair, and move on. And we're going to talk to the wrestlers and the people who want to be wrestlers and see what happens."
Exactly. Don't even be like, "Ladies and gentlemen, replacing Hulk Hogan. Here is the newest."
Well, with Vince, you probably couldn't say
Hogan, but I wouldn't even say, "Here's the newest judge."
Nope.
Don't.
I'd say our judges and do it.
Don't bring it up. Don't, because if you say, "Here's the new judge," it adds more to it, and more people will wonder and talk about it. And you know what? Just let it die. Is the way I look at it. But
speaking of letting it die, we're going to let it die. We had to get this Hogan scandal off our chest.
First 10, 12 minutes, whatever.
We talked about Hogan. He's done for.
We're done.
Now let's go.
Now we're not going to be like WWE and say we're never talking about Hogan again.
No.
If he's in the news,
that's the truth. I'd have to get rid of my name. So it'd just be
true.
Mike and Justin Carter here.
That's true. Go by first name. You'd be like a diva. Go by first name.
But a huge news for the wrestling world.
This man is undead.
The rumors were out there, and we were wondering as the night went on for BattleGround, it kept going and going. Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen?
We sat there, and we both went, there it was. We were so excited.
And we thought, well, here it goes. They're giving the title back to Brock, who will wrestle 3 times.
That's right.
Without no champion.
And lights out.
Lights out. And we heard the gong, and the Undertaker, who looked in great shape.
Great shape. Everybody's like, oh, no.
I'm glad he put a little weight back on. He needed to.
He did. He looked
Skinny Undertaker does not look good.
No.
But Undertaker is back, and it looks like he's going to be back on his last run for a while.
I say let it be one last run. Let's go SummerSlam all the way to WrestleMania.
I know. I mean, you're going to have every pay-per-view.
No.
But the big ones, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and I mean, you go from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania.
All the way through. He needs to be there. Yes, that'd be good.
But
instead of just, one appearance here and then 2 appearances there and then done. But that's pretty huge, Undertaker being back, and it's going to make SummerSlam very interesting. But speaking of SummerSlam, they're saying that Kevin Owens has been dropped from the main event picture.
I hate that. That's stupid.
As of right now, there are no plans for Owens to be featured on the SummerSlam card. Hope that has changed. I think it already has changed.
I think it has changed. I think this got out, and they made a big, they probably got some backlash from it.
And my thing is, no, I don't agree with them saying that he's been taken out of the main event picture. No. Okay, he had 3 matches or 4 matches, whatever it was, with John Cena.
3, because that was a rubber match.
Right. Wonderful, great, blah, blah, blah. Cena always wins the 3rd match. Okay.
Should not have tapped out, though.
He should not have tapped out. He should have passed out like Austin did.
Yes.
But that's neither here nor there. They don't book the way they used to. It is what it is. Don't. But I don't believe that we should say he's not in the main event picture anymore because, okay, on Raw the last few weeks, where's he been? Main events.
Yes.
Okay, he was in that main event with Rusev and Sheamus.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, and he kicked Rusev, which is pretty interesting. But my thing is, okay,
and then on SmackDown he had a match with Rusev.
Right, which was interesting.
Which he walked out on.
Which is interesting because they're both heels.
Hey,
but that's cool.
I don't care about the face heels. I'd rather just have good matches. If you put Rusev and Kevin Owens together have a good match, great.
Do you know why they're doing that? It's the same reason why, and I know we didn't talk about this, but it's the same exact reason why they're doing more. If you watch Battleground, they're doing more stuff on the apron.
Yes, I read that too, and
which is interesting.
Which is fine.
And I think that's why they're doing the Owens Rusev thing. It doesn't matter who's heel face type thing because Ring of Honor has influenced the product. What happened years ago in the Attitude Era? One little company influenced the big companies.
What was that little
company? And we're going to talk about that company in Part 4.
Oh yes, that's true.
Very interesting. But Ring of Honor is influencing the big company.
But with them talking, and then what happened this past on SmackDown, I believe we're going to be looking at a Kevin Owens Cesaro.
I love it. I want to see Kevin Owens and Cesaro. But don't package them in, oh, they're only mid-card. Let's give them more of a chance. Let's say, you know what? Let's push them. You know? If they're giving them time and they're putting them in main events, even though they're, you know, one of them walking out, all that kind of stuff, it adds more intrigue to it. You know, Kevin Owens is not always going to be main event. The only person that's always main event is John Cena, but you can say, here lately, that is not true. Because when him and Rusev were fighting and him and Kevin Owens were fighting, they were not in the main event. So why is it said that Kevin Owens is not in the main event anymore just because he's not against John Cena? John Cena and Kevin Owens, I don't remember any of their pay-per-view matches being the main event.
No. I guess people are just looking at because he wrestled John Cena.
Because he wrestled John Cena.
That's slapping in the face to the person, anybody.
Okay, so John Cena's been there that long,
so I don't wrestle John Cena. I'm not a main event character because I don't wrestle John Cena. So that's slapping in the face of anybody.
Right. It's like saying
and that's one of the problems I have with WWE.
Yeah, it's almost like saying John Cena, Brock Lesnar. Oh, that's the only two. That's the only two main event guys you can face. Okay, so Seth Rollins.
Seth has the championship. It don't matter. He's not Brock. He's not Cena.
And I don't like these two guys because they've been there for too long and they need to go. But if you're looking at John Cena being the main event guy, okay, he's been there forever. Big Show's been there forever. Why not say he's main event? Mark Henry's been there forever. Why not say he's main event? Kane's been there forever. Why not? Okay, you can't just clump people in a main event just because they're against John Cena. And then, oh, they're not against John Cena, automatically not main event. That's stupid.
I don't like that.
Let's
move on to the shocker of Tough Enough.
Tough Enough. Very stupid.
Patrick was voted off by the fans.
Yes. And I understand the humility thing, but at the same time, I think the thing was set up because he's the only male that had any prior experience. And if you've ever watched Tough Enough before, they don't go for prior experienced people. Last time with Stone Cold's Tough Enough, the first person out was a man with experience who is now Lucha Underground. So I think he's doing quite well for himself.
Yeah, I mean, all those that really want to be professional wrestlers will be professional wrestlers.
Right. And
may not
really,
be WWE,
truly, I think the worst track record possible is to go through Tough Enough to do it.
Yeah.
Look at the people from Tough Enough 1 and 2 and 3. Okay.
The winners, yeah.
The winners have gone nowhere. Okay, Maven and Nitty are gone. Jackie Gata, she got with her man and she left. Linda Miles had attitude problems. They got rid of her, even though she got bee stung or something and got big boobies.
Yeah.
Weird, huh?
Daniel Puder.
Daniel Puder went nowhere fast. This last guy from Stone Cold's, my gosh.
I can't remember what his name is, but he's nowhere.
And he had daggone drug violations with WWE right away. I mean, that's not a good thing. But the only people in Tough Enough history that have done well, one winner has done well, but he's no longer with them, and that's John Hennigan, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Nitro, whatever you want to call him. He did great. But the greatest Tough Enough competitor is the host of Tough Talk, and that is The Miz.
Former world champion.
Former world champion, former main event at WrestleMania. And you know what? That just shows right there, you ain't got to go through Tough Enough to do it, because honestly,
got beat out by Daniel Puder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Tough Enough doesn't have a good track record. Patrick even brought that up the other week, that Tough Enough doesn't have a good track record.
Well, that's true. Let's move on to the next thing. Don't piss off. Don't be in the TNA if you want to work for WWE. Exactly. Unless you're Samoa Joe. So see, that story right there that I come up with, it doesn't make any sense.
No, I think people are just trying to pull at straws just to make a story.
But it is interesting because they said that since they were going to bring in a big name in NXT, but since he was on TNA TV.
When I read that, when I read that, I was like, Jushin Thunder Liger hasn't been in
I
TNA
know.
lately, right?
But he's been on TNA TV, so
Ooh,
Bullet
scary.
Ray has been nixed from NXT.
Isn't that weird that Bullet Ray is no longer with TNA?
Yeah, so now he's no longer with TNA.
Weird. But they're saying that he hasn't quit, even though he's only had, what, one freaking appearance? But they're saying that all his storyline stuff was already filmed. Everything's already been filmed. His storyline's over with.
But they did 4 more weeks of filming, and he was nowhere to be found. Hey, you're the law.
So apparently everything he filmed was backstage segments, and now he's already gone. Weird stuff.
Weird stuff. So, hey, the hope for Bully Ray and Devon to show up is still there.
Yes, it is.
And it would not hurt me, would not upset me in the least if they showed up. Yes.
And then continuing the Wrestling Observer newsletter, shout out to y'all, is reporting the advance sales are doing very remarkable, and the building will now be arranged for 11,000 seats, and a building set up for 13,438. The original seating layout was set up for 6,000, which sold out almost instantly. We're talking about NXT TakeOver Brooklyn in the Barclays Center. We told y'all when we reported this that it was 6,000 people. We said, you know what? They're going to have to put more seating out there, aren't they? And they might as well go all the way to 13,000.
They're going to have to go all the way. It's going to go all the way.
They only need 2,000. And
it's the end of the end of August, so
they still have more time.
That's just ridiculous.
Instantly, 6,000 seats sell out instantly.
And all you know is one match so far, official one match.
Which is
Kevin Owens taking on the NXT champion.
But I thought we already knew that Jushin Liger was.
And Jushin Liger has thrown
Tyler Breeze.
But yeah, but Jushin Liger being there. But still.
I think that helped a lot. That's interesting.
Oh, yes.
But also interesting.
I think they should they should have had the 13 and then start bringing it in as it got closer to the show.
But the most interesting thing is Jushin Liger is going to be in town at the same time as 2 more New Japan Pro Wrestling guys who are going to be at the Field of Honor with Ring of Honor. So where is New Japan's alliances at? Are they working with WWE and Ring of Honor now? Or are they allowed to do that? I mean, this is very interesting. Wrestling is getting interesting again.
People, we have very strange bedfellows a lot here, so anything, right now we're looking at anything can happen.
Anything and everything can happen in the world of pro wrestling. Speaking of, Global Force had their first tapings. Very interesting. But we want to move on very quickly to the Battleground results. King Barrett defeated R-Truth to keep his king crown.
That's what needed to happen.
And we said this, Randy Orton should beat Sheamus because it would not hurt Sheamus with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
And that's what happened.
And that's exactly what happened. Randy Orton won tag team titles, the primetime players.
Millions of dollars, millions of dollars.
They retained their titles against the New Day. Bray Wyatt defeated Roman Reigns.
With a little help from the returning home, returning back to the family. He's coming back to the family.
But finally he wins a match on pay-per-view.
He does, but he ain't going to win the feud.
Nope. Charlotte defeated Sasha Banks and Brie Bella in a triple threat Divas match that was added to the pay-per-view.
When Stephanie behind the Divas, I've noticed the matches are longer, and this past Monday on Raw, 2 Divas matches.
2 Divas matches.
That were very, very
And Charlotte's on a winning streak.
She is on a winning streak.
Already. U.S. title match. Oh, not the main event, but he's a main event.
He is a main event, yes.
Weird, huh?
We talked about it earlier.
U.S. title match. John Cena defeated Kevin Owens, and I love the expression of the 2 guys, the 2 people with the Kevin Owens shirts in the front row. They're like, what?
Yes. But I love Kevin when he said this past week. He said he's doing this for his family. He's not going to take any injuries. He knew what's best for him.
There you go.
He said, I quit and live to fight another day, you know? So
there you go. And then the main event, the WWE title, Seth Rollins defending against Brock Lesnar, ended in a no contest, ladies and gentlemen.
Which isn't true.
Not true at all. There was no ending at all. There was no bell rung. There was no referee. There was no nothing.
Brock should have won the match. Brock did win that match by disqualification because he got attacked.
He did get attacked. Technically, he won by DQ.
It should have been DQ for Brock.
Because Undertaker, when the lights come back on, Undertaker was in the ring. Seth Rollins was gone. The referee was gone. Undertaker took out Brock Lesnar. Very, very weird way to end that with no referee call. I guess they just, and I think even the commentators, they didn't even say anything.
No, they bolted too.
it's very, very interesting how they just wanted to end it with that.
But Seth made up for it on Raw. He did make Lillian made the official announcement. Won by disqualification, but still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins.
Exactly.
So they got that out of the way.
And then live on IPPV, which they're saying that this IPPV did very well with the quality.
Yeah, no mess ups.
No mess ups. No cutting out of the pay-per-view. So that's very good.
Thing. Yeah.
Death Before Dishonor 8 results from July the 24th, 2015. Go catch out the replay at Ring of Honor or ROHWrestling.com. Silas Young defeated Will Ferrara. Cedric Alexander defeated Moose.
Now Moose is on losing streak. He was on the winning streak, now he's on losing streak.
The Briscoes defeated RPG Vice.
I could see that one coming, yeah.
With Trent Beretta and his partner. Right. Adam Cole defeated Dalton Castle with the boys.
Yep.
Adam Page in a grueling match that they said ACH lost in this match to Adam Page, and ACH had to be taken to a local medical facility. So this is a huge feud going on, a lot of hatred going on between the two of them. And then the sixth match, we have Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, The Addiction, beating War Machine, Matt Taven and Michael Bennett, and Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly in a four-corner survival match to retain the Ring of Honor Tag Team title.
But the main event, something you don't hear about
ever anymore.
No.
This is old school.
This is a thing of the past.
We talked about this before we went on air, talking about going old school again. This is old school. In the main event, the seventh and final match, when I read how long the match went, I was shocked.
Yes.
This went to a 1 hour draw. Yes. Clean out your ears. The days of Ric Flair, Barry Windham, Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair, Terry Funk, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes. Yes. They're back, ladies and gentlemen, because Jay Lethal, who's continuing on, I guess, with Ric Flair's legacy, if you will, took on Roderick Strong to a 1 hour draw. So Lethal did retain the Ring of Honor title, but Roderick Strong said, "We ain't done yet. We ain't done by a long shot."
Well, that was a long match, and that's something you don't hear about too much.
No, and it does make me want to watch that.
Oh, yes.
It does. Definitely. And then WrestleCade news very quickly. That's all we've got left is WrestleCade news. They've added Colt Cabana, the Heat Seekers tag team. Don't know much about them. Bill Apter, yes, the guy from the magazine, the guy that takes the pictures, the guy that interviews people, will be there as a featured attraction.
That's very good.
Plus, Caprice Coleman from Ring of Honor will be there. He was there last year as well, and returning, he was also there last year when I was there. We've got a picture with him, and we've had an interview with this man.
We've had an interview with this man, yes.
A great interview with this man, contrary to popular belief.
I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Tom Pritchard will be there live to sign autographs and take pictures with all the fans.
And WrestleCade is only getting bigger and bigger.
Bigger and bigger, and closer to WrestleCade, we will give out whole list at a time.
Yes.
You know, right now we're just giving out a few names at a time. But next up in part 2 in pay-per-view review, SummerSlam 2001.
Finally! You got a tagline back.
That's interesting, I guess, because The Rock was in the main
very
event.
Very good.
Thank you. So the main event, The Rock representing the WWF, taking on Booker T, the WCW champion, and of course representing WCW, and it's for the WCW title.
Which is very interesting for a WWF pay-per-view at the time.
Yes.
For a WCW championship to main event.
Yes, this is right after WCW got sucked up into the abyss of WWE from getting bought out, and it started at WrestleMania.
Moved on and then
stopped. Continued. And it ended at the same year, the Survivor Series, I believe it was.
Yes.
Because it was brutal. Should have been the greatest storyline ever in the history of the business. And it bombed.
And right now it should be WWE Monday Night Raw and WCW SmackDown. That's what it should be right now.
It should be.
It writes itself.
It does write itself, but we don't work for them.
We don't work for them, and everybody knows. Well, who cares if they know? You're supposed to make them not know.
Right.
Make them believe a little bit here.
Suspend your belief.
Yes. Well, that is it for part 1 of episode 68 here of Top Rope Reality. And we'll be right back for part 2, like you said, for the pay-per-view review, SummerSlam 2001. As always, I'm Mike Hogan.
And I'm Justin Carter.
And we'll see you in a few clicks.